then COVID hit, and I say that because from the time I invented anchors to the time we actually were going to get ready to put it out, COVID hit. So you didn't need weights to hold down signs. There were no more open houses, and then everybody was shut down. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Crystal Clear Business Podcast. Today we have David Blackford here with Life Hack Tees, and he's a serial entrepreneur. So you'll get to hear about lots of his incredible businesses. Thank you for joining us today, David.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I love getting to know people more, and especially when they have a diverse entrepreneurship background.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I own a company called Blacklock Designs, and it's an umbrella company for an invention that my father invented back in 2011. He asked me, hey, I need help selling this product. He knew I was really good at computers. So anyway, we got into that, sold 10,000 of them in the first 2 years. So that kind of really like reignited my entrepreneurial side.
Yeah.
I know we were talking before the camera started rolling, but I really kind of go back to when I was like a little kid. But anyway, so we're going to focus on life hack tees today.
But it's all important. I mean, when we're little and door-to-door sales were a thing,
Right.
That's sometimes where entrepreneurship can stem from. So I love that story we get to talk about a little bit briefly before we joined, because then it gets to show, the depth of your spirit in the terms of the entrepreneurship.
Okay, well then I have a small story. When I was, I don't know, I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. I lived in Mill Valley in Marin County, which is north of San Francisco. And I would take my bike and I would ride from Mill Valley to Sausalito. And it was probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7 miles. My mom had no idea that I was doing this, but I would ride there, and there was a place called Village, I'm thinking Village Pizzeria in Coronado, but no, Village Fair. And I would wash all the windows to all the shops, and I literally had them on a monthly basis. I would go there, and I was bringing home a lot of money. My mom would be like, "Where have you been all day?" And washing windows, Mom. Yeah. Anyway,
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be creative sometimes.
Got to be creative. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. The note to our children out there.
There you go. Yeah. Start them young, right?
Yeah, I always support the people. They come to my door and want to paint my curb number or some.
Exactly.
Yeah, some little entrepreneur journey. Go for it.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, absolutely. So, and where did that lead you now? What are you doing these days?
Okay, so so going back to my father, I was in the Navy, and I was in the Navy for 6 years active, 2.5 reserve. I've been working at NAS North Island for the F-18 Fleet Support Team for the last 30 years. But going back to 2011, when my father asked me to help him, it reignited my entrepreneurial spirit from when I was a child. And after helping him I'm getting goosebumps. After helping him for a few years of doing that, I remember he had passed away in 2013. In 2014, I was selling his product. I was learning real estate because I wanted to leave the government and be a realtor, which I still am. I'm a part-time realtor. But while doing that, I invented a product that holds down real estate signs. For anybody that's interested, go to anchors.com, ANCHERZ.com. You can see that product there. Again, I don't want to talk too much about that, but then COVID hit. And I say that because from the time I invented anchors to the time we actually were going to get ready to put it out, COVID hit. So you didn't need weights to hold down signs. There were no more open houses. And then everybody was shut down. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And because of the extra time that we had, because we couldn't go anywhere, and I'm an avid reader, at least I didn't used to be, but now because of the awakening that I had in 2011, I was reading a lot more. And during that process, I kept on coming up with life hacks. And again, we were talking about this before the show, but I think I was reading a book by Greg Reed. And for those of you that don't know, Greg has written like over 80 books, I think, and he's very gifted, very talented individual. And but anyway, going back to the story, I wanted to teach my daughters some philosophy, and I came up with this idea for Life Hack Tees to where I was going to have my daughter research some quotes, and we were going to put it on T-shirts. And the very first one was Henry Ford's, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right." And so I gave her the quote, and I said, "Go look up the quote, tell me who Henry Ford is, tell me what he did for society, give me 3 URLs or websites so I can put on the website." So every T-shirt that we do, all the information about it is down below. So it's not just a sell; it's also a place that you can learn to. Anyway, she came back about a half hour later, and she goes, "Did you know Henry Ford invented the car?" And I was like, "Well, he didn't quite invent the car; he invented mass production."
Yeah.
But the quote is a really great quote, and I knew as soon as she came back and did that, I knew I was on the right track. So we did, I think, about a half a dozen quotes that summer. She was only like 12 years old. And the following summer, we followed it up and we did more. And I would say it took us a couple of years to get 28 quotes. And I took those 28 quotes and I started building my Shopify website. And then I hired a person that was going to help me bring it out to the world. And then I also had a program, between, we have a print service called Printful. I guess there's a couple big ones, but Printful is one of them. And it took a couple, 3 months just to program so we have 28 original designs, 4 different types of shirts, black and white. It was like 1,260 products that we had to create, to do it.
And all the sizes.
Yeah, all the different sizes. And anyway, it was, once we got it done, we launched it and we started marketing it a little bit, but that's the next step. Like I'm not a social, what do you call it, internet marketer yet. But I think we were talking about this a little bit before the show, that I've come up with a way. I'm not going to talk about that right now because I want to be a surprise here in a little bit. But
we'll have you on again when that one comes out.
There you go. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So, I mean, for your audience, please go to lifehacktees.com, lifehacktees.com, and visit the site. And
But I think what's beautiful about what you're doing is we're trying to create an opportunity to connect with your daughter, and then the business came from it. But finding ways that we can connect with our children and creating an entrepreneurial legacy, essentially, because you're maybe giving her some of what you were getting as a little kid. We're in different days. I also went door to door and sold stuff, and I learned a lot about my entrepreneurial spirit, but I don't know, we're in a day and age where kids can go door to door the same way. So by doing these online businesses, it gives them a way to get ingrained in the entrepreneurial spirit. It gives you a purpose to connect too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, we haven't started doing it, but we'll be out there doing, like farmers markets and stuff like that, just to get it out there on the public that way. But we're going to start off with social media with some fun ways to do it.
Yeah. And so as our audience might be entrepreneurs in different areas of life, what's some tips or suggestions or advice you would give to an entrepreneur?
Wow. Well, the very first thing that I thought of, and I was at a men's group this morning and we were talking about it. I have 2 things that, for me anyway, that absolutely changed my life. And one is just be grateful for what you already have. That's been a huge thing. And then just spending time in the Word. I start my morning every morning in the Bible app. And those 2 things alone have completely changed my life in the last 10 years.
And you said you had an awakening in 2011?
I could share that. So besides starting the company with my father, someone handed me some CDs, and it was Your Wish is Your Command by Kevin Trudeau. For anybody, you could go to YouTube, you could look it up. I've done some master classes on it, but here you go. So the very first couple of CDs, there's 4 basics. And it says, who do you listen to? Well, you listen to people that have done what you want to do or have what you want. All the rest don't know. I mean, they could talk about it, they could write books about it, but unless they've done it, then they don't really know. They're just trying to collect your money.
Yeah.
The second one is what they call the teachability index, and it's how teachable are you? You could say, well, I know that. Well, if you say that, then you kind of close the door. You don't really know that. Or there may be another thing that you could learn, but if you say, I know, then you don't know. And then this training balance scale, they talk about how much do you think before you act. They say 90% of it's thinking, 10% of it's acting. A lot of people say, oh, action, action, action. Well, action is certainly important, but think and grow rich. Think about it. Think about it, and you'll become what you think about. And then the last part is just this. So I don't know if I could do this on camera because so there's 4 levels of learning, and so the first one is like unconscious incompetence, meaning you don't know what you don't know. And then the second one is conscious incompetence, that you know that you don't know. And then the third one is like
Consciously competent.
there you go. Yeah. So then you know that you can work on it. And then the unconscious incompetence is when you're just doing it, but like you tying your shoe or driving to work, you don't really know. And I had never seen or heard about that, but I just want to share with you. The barbecue guy, Dave Anderson. I think it's Dave Anderson, or Famous Dave's, the barbecue.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called Life Skills, and that's the only other place I've ever seen those 4 levels of learning. So for your audience, Famous Dave's Life Skills.
Yeah, that's great. Who would have known Famous Dave's?
Right, I know. He's actually written quite a few books.
You can get wisdom anywhere.
He did 30 years. It took him to write that book.
Wow.
So that was my awakening. That's what opened the door to everything that I know now, because I've just been building on it.
So you just had a massive amount of wisdom that kind of came into your life all at once, and it kind of altered your perception.
Oh, absolutely. It was a huge awakening. And then I'm at the point right now where kind of Jim Rohn, for your audience, look it up on YouTube, but Jim Rohn, he talks about your cup. Can you fill a cup if it's already full? Well, you can, but you got to start pouring out so you can fill your cup. So right now I'm kind of at that point where I'm trying to give out and give my knowledge out to people. And right now it's free. Eventually it's going to be, you're going to have to pay for it. But anyway, that's the heart behind Life Hack Tees, is I'm giving the world my knowledge.
I love it. And it's kind of an evolution, right? Like you can't start as this little boy going door to door. You've had all these different businesses. You were explaining earlier that you have multiple businesses that you're part of right now. And now it's going to be leading to something different. And I love that we're allowed to co-create with our creator this life, that we have some possibilities of what we could walk down, but we could also create whatever we want from there. And I think as entrepreneurs, that's one thing that's really exciting about having a business is a lot of us guilty don't like to be told what to do. We like to go out and create and do and make. And I love that idea of thinking before we create. It kind of, there was like a vision that kind of came into my head. It was like these people trying to fill this bucket full of like water buckets, and then there was someone else next to it that had a hose. It's like, if you're taking action right away, but maybe it's not as efficient, that maybe taking a moment to think about what your options could really increase your efficiency, because sometimes we don't want to just be on that hamster wheel spinning, but actually making sure we are creating what we want to create.
Right.
Yeah. So
Nicely said.
Where do you see yourself going in the future?
I'm just keeping on creating, building more brands. I have a few other brands, as we were talking about, that I'll do after. Right now, I'm really focused on the Life Hack Tees because I only have like about another half a dozen years with my daughters at home. I really want to impress on them. In fact, I know I already have. I'll share this story here in a second, but I know I've been impressing them because the other day, I guess I'm going to tell you about it now. We were at the beach, and my oldest daughter at home, she'll be 16 on Saturday. She asked me, and it was just a few, it was me and Delilah, who's my 16-year-old soon, Saturday. and Danica, and we were talking. She goes, "You remember when you told me about when I'm feeling negative, I should start thinking about more positive things?" She goes, "It really works." And I was like, wow, like big dad moment, right? And so then I shared with her about the being grateful thing. I said, like when I wake up in the morning, every morning, I start off and I just, what am I grateful for? Well, first thing, I'm breathing, right? So you're just grateful for being there, but grateful for the opportunity to do something good today. But then I just start going down all the things that I'm grateful for. And so I'm actually going to gift her for her birthday Saturday. I bought this journal, and it's going to be anytime she thinks of anything that she's grateful for, I want her to write it down, and hopefully she'll feel it one day.
I love it. Yeah, I used to do gratitude jars for
There
the
you
little
go.
kids. We'd just take a mason jar and put a little slot in the top and put a little decoration on it, and then they would just write what they were grateful for the year, and then at the end of the year, they could open it up and read all the little things that
That's
they
a
had.
great idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I think I've seen that, but as you were saying that, I think I might have to put that in my house.
Yeah, it was a fun thing. PTA mom.
I didn't know
Guilty
that.
as charged.
All right.
Yeah, but I love all the motivational, inspirational type of stuff, being in mental health and just seeing, like you said, that the difference between operating out of gratitude or operating out of lack, it can change your entire perception and entire life when you're operating more authentically. I have a big sign that says gratitude right when I wake up. That's the first thing I see is my gratitude sign. That's just always a good reminder to be grateful for what we do have. If we focus on what we don't have, we'll end up with more of what we don't have.
No, I
But
get it.
if we focus on the positive, I know sometimes there are moments where it feels a little roller coastery, but still focusing on that reframing, because there's always a lesson or always something that you can take away, even if it's a business that fails, you're still learning from it. Or relationships fail too, and we end up with better relationships and upgrading into things that support us more. So just if you're an entrepreneur and you're finding yourself in a precipice where you might need to change a little bit, give yourself some grace, because sometimes that's part of the process, these evolutions that lead us to finding ourselves in a business with our children that could be the most thriving, because like you said, that window of opportunity isn't open forever.
That's true.
Yeah, I love that. So any encouraging advice for anyone's considering opening a business with their kids, so they might want to explore something like that with their talents?
Wow. I can share that what you want to do is not necessarily what they want to do. And thankfully, we were able to do something where, like, and we talked about it before, we really got it going. I mean, once she got the little bug, and that was fine. But then we started making it fun. We did like a logo contest. We used 99 designs, and we had, I had my daughters kind of help me do that. It wasn't just my decision. I made it their decision as well.
Yeah.
So just to involve them as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine, he's a lawyer, and his sons, they started a company building knives, and he was kind of the same chord, that just, involve them as much as you can, but don't push them into doing it because they won't want to do it. So
Yeah.
make it as much as their project it is yours.
Yeah, well, people like to give their input. Even my son, my youngest son, Luke, helped me design my cover of my book, picking out the fonts. And yeah, I love that. It's a great entryway to getting them involved, is asking what their ideas are, or just feedback to maybe. And oftentimes they have a whole different perspective, so they might share something with you that could really be
Oh,
beneficial.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have one of your t-shirts here. I'll show the audience really quick because they're so neat. This one on the front says, "Everything is hard until it's easy." How cool is that?
That's something I can share. That so all of our shirts have both sides. There's a front part of the quote and then the rear side. To make the whole quote, you have to see both sides of the shirt, and it's
Oh,
really kind of it's been fun wearing these shirts around, because people are like, wait a minute, wait, I want to see the other side, because they start getting that idea, and so that's something that'll be out there. Yeah, that'll be for every shirt we do. We're gonna do that.
It's a great metaphor for life too. You've got to see both sides of the
There you
shirt to
go. I
get
didn't
the
even
whole
think about
picture.
that. That's great. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so you've also been in BNI as well. How has BNI helped your business? Have you liked being part of that
I
group?
do. I do love being part of that group because I'm already of the giving type. I love giving referrals to our members. But I think the biggest thing, well, there's a lot of things, but I think the biggest thing for me anyway is it kept me more accountable. Like I'm pretty good about doing my things, but knowing you have to answer every week to do what you're needing to do,
Yeah.
and you
And
say you're going to do, and then you follow
you don't
through.
want to let the team down.
Yeah, you don't want to let the team down, but it's like goal setting, but you're already being accountable. Like the following week, if you say, "Hey, I'm going to get this done by this time," there's someone that's going to say, "Hey, did you get that thing done?" And yeah, so it's a help. It's for sure a
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, I love it. So, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, okay, so I'm pretty easy to find. I mean, I'm because I'm a realtor for Keller Williams. You could probably just Google me, but I have a special thing. When you brought that up, if you send an email to askdave@lifehacktees.com, I have a special gift for everybody. The Your Wish is Your Command that I was talking about, those CDs. There's a list of books that are in that CDs that starts off with like The Magic of Believing, See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar, Think and Grow Rich, but it'll give you a whole list of all the books that are in those CDs. That's where I started building my library. But yeah, if they send an email there, they can get that list, and then I'll know who asked for it, and then I would be able to get a hold of them.
I love that. So definitely reach out to him, get that list. That sounds very valuable. And reach out to him if any of that was connected with you. That's what this podcast is for. So if any of this information was helpful for someone else, please share this episode, like, follow, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.